Oh, we back. We talking about ball, but we gonna be talking about life. This is Val.
Your boy Z, another day, another dollar.
Another dollar, man. This is a different kind of week for us, man. If you know us for right, well, if you've been following us for the last month or so, we've been giving y'all a good deep dive into how we feel about our Bills before the season, how we feel about the draft. We talked a lot about the draft.
Yeah, it's the league.
Almost spent too much time on the draft.
Yeah, but the league in whole, we've been definitely diving into what's to come over the next few months.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about the schedule, which we'll get into later. But what we wanted to start off with was being two hometown kids from Buffalo. You see, he rocking the Sabres. Shout out to them, by the way.
Oh yeah, I didn't even.
Yeah, big Sabres.
Ironic, but
what we wanted to start off though with was for those who don't live in this city, and if you're living in a place where you haven't heard anything for the last few days, you might be a little crazy, or you might live in a box. But we've been dealing with a tragedy. We want to start off by saying prayers to the families of the victims of those who lost their lives at Tops on Jefferson, a grocery store here in Buffalo in our East Side community. We're sending nothing but love and hugs and prayers, and we know that term gets used a lot, right?
Yeah.
You know, hugs and prayers. But like, I really mean
it's
that.
needed. We send nothing but our most sincere condolences and love and prayers to the family and friends and the community as a whole.
The community as a whole.
Because it is contrary to popular belief, it is a tight-knit community.
A big rich community, and we're not talking about dollars, like rich in just numbers,
Cultural,
tradition.
Absolutely.
I mean, people forget that, you know, our Juneteenth is one of the biggest in the country.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I know that came to light over the last few years with everything going on.
The federal holiday.
But we've been doing that.
I mean, we were born and bred into that.
Right. I mean, you talking to
babies.
Two kids right here, and, you know, I'm speaking for him, but I know this is the truth. We both grew up on the east side of Buffalo, and I can tell you right now, you know, we can talk our own stuff, whatever, about that side of town, but it made us who we are.
Absolutely.
You know, no matter if you came up on the good side of the east side or the bad side, it builds character. Number one.
You know, for better or for worse.
Yeah, for better or worse, it's gonna build.
Home.
Man, listen, it's gonna build character.
I say it's the east side till I die.
Right. You know, we all pretty much got cousins, grandparents when they're alive. Rest in peace to mine. But grandparents, aunts, uncles, all living on that side of town. And just to speak about the tragedy, because, you know, sports is important, but sometimes there's things bigger than sports, and that's why we're going to spend the first half of our show just talking about the impact of everything that went on. But for starters, Z, hearing everything that happened Saturday, getting all of the details. We don't have to walk through the timeline because that was such an emotional, draining kind of couple hours when everybody was getting the information. But initial thoughts on finding out what happened Saturday, why it happened, and how did that impact you and your family?
It was such a shock. I mean, again, I'm not naive to think it could never happen here.
Right.
But for it to be real life,
Mm-hmm.
it was shocking. And for it to be at Tops on Jefferson is what really got me. Because again, I, previous to my, current life and current employment, I used to be an executive director of a nonprofit.
Okay.
About 3 blocks away from that Tops. So I was director of Urban Christian Ministries. And we, there ran a food pantry.
Okay.
We had after school programs for kids. So again, being rooted in that community, also that's an organization. Literally, I've been going there since I was 13.
Right.
So like I grew up through there, grew up in that neighborhood, worked in there, served the people in that community. So when I heard it was at Jefferson, I'm like, these are literally the people that, I've been working with for years. Whether I know them directly or not, these are people from my part of town. So, and I just can't help but think like these are my people that are hurting.
Yeah.
And my people that are dead since
Elders.
Elders at that. And I just couldn't help but think like I've been in and out of that Tops more times than I can even count.
Right.
And when I heard it, my brain literally took me to that Tops. Like my brain went to the exact layout. So I see
something that ain't even been up 20 years.
Yeah.
It ain't even been up that long.
Yeah, a little over 10, I believe.
Yeah.
I think it was 2008 it was built.
Right. And they fought for that.
To get that. My brain just took me visually. I was there, so like I see the layout. I can just see the path that people are running, trying to save themselves.
Trying to save themselves.
Visually, I couldn't get that out of my head for days and days, and
right.
I just can't help but think like the amount of fear,
pain
that was going on.
Well, in that moment too, because you got to think, the whole thing happened within like a 2-minute period.
Yeah.
Like this guy, who we won't say his name, traveled 3.5 hours to come to, and I think that's why it hit us so hard in Buffalo, like especially within our community, because we say Buffalo and a lot of people claim Buffalo, and I have no problem with you claiming Buffalo, but they're from like all of the suburbs, Clarence, Hamburg, this, that. It really affected us who grew up here in Buffalo, because in our minds, we can't understand how somebody travels 3.5 hours on the 90 high, whatever they took, with that much hate to come to our community to look for people who look like me and Z and say, I don't care about nothing that's going on. I'm just shooting at whatever I see. I'm gonna go in that community. Now, if you white, Puerto Rican, whatever, you happen to get in the way, guess what? I'm sorry. Yeah. And that's what happened with a couple of them. Because in the beginning, people are like, well, they weren't all black. And it was only a couple people saying that. Right. But I'm like, yeah, because in that guy's mind, I'm in a predominantly black store. So
I'm hitting anything that's moving.
So guess what? If I'm in motion, you might catch one. And that's what happened when, for some of those that seen the video, when he got out the car, the one young lady, unfortunately, I think she might have been the youngest victim. Mm-hmm. She was the first one, and he just hops out, bam. You know what I mean? And like, I try not to watch no footage and things like that, but sometimes I do to give it for me to dive deeper into how I really feel. And some people don't need all of that, and I get that. I'm old enough and I'm mature enough to know that everybody doesn't need the visuals and things like that. But sometimes it helps me digest certain things, even if that comes with more anger. Like I'm probably a little bit more upset just because I did watch, some of the clips. But for me, and I think for others, it's somebody coming into your town with the sole purpose of saying, if you are this color, I'ma just shoot you and kill you.
For your life.
And the fact that, you look at the fact that this guy had a 100+ page manifesto that he put together online, who was shared amongst a private group of people who we can hope, who we hope that they can find. I mean, you share this amongst a group of people, they don't say a peep. He got it live streamed. People are watching it on the live stream. They don't say a peep. And like I tell people, that's because we have a community out there of people who are sick, just like that, who are waiting to be the next one.
Yeah, and that's what pissed me off so much is like the audacity to come here, because again, it's a community who is, I believe, very rich in culture, very rich in heritage,
for sure.
But from a tangible standpoint, it's not a lot. This is literally the only grocery store close to this neighborhood,
within about 8 to 10 miles.
So again, if you're not familiar with that neighborhood, there is Tops, and that's it.
Right.
Like when they say food desert, literally they're describing that east side of Buffalo, because there is no other grocery store. So the fact that they decided to go to this one and take away one of the few things that's even there.
Right. That's
even now there's people who are going without. I mean, thankfully there's a lot of organizations.
Right now stepping up,
which is amazing.
Right.
But it's still.
But how long will that continue? Exactly. And we're hoping that with this tragedy, which we'll get into the impact with the whole city coming together, but we're hoping that the money does really touch the community and touch these families, because this is not nothing that's going to be able to be kind of put together and pieced together in 1 week. Right. Like, these are still families that by July are going to still need groceries. By August, June, there's still going to be families hurting, because the backbone of their families was taken away by a senseless act of violence. So, you know, all in all, I mean, you know, we don't want to spend too much time on it, but we do want to say that we hope our listeners and we hope that the people within this community will try their best to be more active when they can in the community, and also stop the hate that comes around you. You know, if you consider yourself an ally, if you are not black and you want to help us and you're like, you know, I don't know what I really need to do. Guess what? When you witness somebody doing something that they shouldn't be doing around you or saying something about a person of color, stop them.
That silence is
that silence is a weapon.
Man, you sit there and let it continue to fester. I'm not saying you are the one that did it. I mean, but you're a little complicit because you allowed it to happen around you. So
because we are.
If you hear it,
call it out.
Yeah, call it for what it is, and that's it. Again, one person can't change the world.
Nope.
But again, if you have people who are willing to step up and be bold and be brave and call out their friends and family for having these hateful ideologies, you know, that's when you start to see meaningful change.
And it's going to take time. I mean, and to be honest with you, we may never see the change we want to see in our lifetime. It may not happen in the next 30, 40 years, unfortunately. But what we can do while we're here is do the best we can to educate those around us. Because I'll give you an example right now for my listeners. I went ahead and told my if you want to call them bosses, the people above me, how I felt when they were silent on Monday when I came in. I sent the one a message and I just said, hey, just letting you know I'm not okay. Let's start there. And I just want you to know that I did notice the silence when I came in on Monday, where somebody could have easily emailed me, somebody could have texted or called. Hey, we heard about what happened in Buffalo. Just want to say our hearts are with you in your community. Boom. What I just said right there took about 15 seconds. And that's what some of us were just looking for on Monday. Because for those fans out there who listen to us that don't live in Buffalo, I think to me that was the tougher part, was going back to work, right? Some had to work on Sunday, but going back to work and then having to deal with complete silence. And when I say complete silence, nobody asking you, how are you, right? You know, hey, hope you had a good weekend. Or, hey, I heard you, some things happened over the weekend. Are you doing, is your family good? Because let me tell you something, guess what? If me or Z didn't show up for work Monday or Tuesday, what they would have been doing? Calling us, checking, oh, what's going on?
You missed your shit, Velpo.
Guess what? I'm dead. Cause you ain't check. Cause I was thinking like that on Sunday. I'm like, damn. So nobody hitting me. So who's to say I wasn't one of those 10 people? They didn't announce who the full 10 victims were until like Sunday night. Yeah. So I'm like, who's to say I didn't show up on Monday because I was one of those people dead? You know what I mean? And it is not to put the responsibility on others to go out of their way to check on their employees, but like a lot.
But something like that, again, like you said, it only takes a second. It only takes a second just to, and there is no right word. There is no right words, but it's just the acknowledgement, just to say, hey,
realize this happened.
I saw this took place. Are you okay?
In your home, yeah.
Let me know if you need anything, if there's anything I can do to help.
Yeah, boom. That's it. Because at the end of the day, we know individually, especially throughout the life that we've lived now, we know that we got to strap it up and keep it going. We know we got to stay strong. So we know already what we got to do to keep pushing. But it's nice for us to be able to walk into a place with people who don't look like us, or enter a Zoom call or enter a conference call with other people who actually care. Because let me tell you something. If we had the conference call that we were scheduled to have on Monday, I was going to bring it up. Because we get a bunch of emails in the morning, like 5 or 6.
Wow.
So all of them was flying. I was ready in the first 5 minutes. But you want to know what they did? 45 minutes before the conference call, they canceled and postponed it. But guess what? It was for work. Oh, guys, focus on outbound calls, da-da-da-da. I'm like, so we just postpone this to do more work? Y'all want to say nothing? Okay. All right, Tuesday morning I come here, I don't see nothing. I'm texting somebody, and that's what I did. But that's all it is, man. Like I said, I don't want to stretch it too far because we don't want to make this an over serious podcast for this week. But we are still Buffalo through and through. We are inner city kids. Obviously, if you're watching, you can see by our skin color, we are Black kings. And we will make sure our voice is heard.
Yeah, and again, it's a process for us. I can't speak for everybody, but for me, it hits different. And I guess I can speak for Velpo too, because he's also a father. It hits different when
you got kids.
When you got a kid, because again, you know, my son is 18 months.
18 months.
I think about if I'm in the store with him and I got him in the cart and something like that takes place.
Well,
and
you know what I mean? What do you do?
That's what my brain kept repeating. It's like, what do I do in that situation? Because I heard a story of a young lady who was in there in that same situation. Her daughter was in
and they got separate. Was it the one where they got separated, or was that a different one?
I believe it's a different one.
Okay.
So she had her daughter in a cart or a stroller.
Okay.
And that took place, and they were getting chased around the store. But
Yeah.
they ended up having
Be
luckily was able to get into the cooler. So what was the same one we're referring to? But
Man,
I just
listen.
think about, like, again, that could have been me. That could have been my son. So
Right.
like my last few days, I'm trying not to live in fear, but I ain't
It's
been
tough.
around.
Bruh, and that's the other thing that, you know, is the tough part for us, and that's why we get annoyed when people say, oh, like this happens all the time. Oh, what about last December? Or what about this? Or what about the subway? What about... Let me tell you something. I hate whataboutism. I hate whataboutism because guess what?
Nothing to do with that.
Guess what? We don't do that when other tragedies happen. When y'all are mourning for 9/11, we don't sit here and say, well, what about slavery? Well, what about 1811? What about... We don't do that. You know, us as people, for the most part, if you're mourning, we letting you mourn. So why, when we're mourning or when we're hurting, we got to deal with people in our comments or on TV saying, oh, but what about this situation? Like I really can't stand that, and I try to.
What about black on black?
Oh my God, yo, don't get me started. That killed me 2 years ago when George Floyd's situation happened. Bruh, the height.
That's all fair topic.
Oh my, Chicago this, Chicago, and they quick to post an article. Oh, 17 killed over the weekend. But I'm like, we can talk about that if you want to, but right now we're focusing on this situation. We know about the crime rates in our neighborhoods, but do you know what that's attached to as well? Do you want to have that conversation? But they don't.
Yeah.
And that be the funny part for me is that
like, you don't realize you're talking about an onion that's rooted deep.
But and that's the thing, and those who bring that up, they don't understand that we have those conversations. Just because you don't see those conversations online,
right?
We have those conversations.
We know it's a problem.
but we don't have to talk to you about it. Yeah. Oh, where's the outrage? Oh, we
it's there.
It's there. That's what you got community groups for. That's what you got. You know,
the peacekeepers,
the peacekeepers, the black educators. You know what I mean? Like it's tough because again, we have to sit here and always explain why we're mad. Mm-hmm. We have to listen to people say after every tragedy, well, and I just saw this, and that's what's making me think. Somebody in my mentions was just saying like every race is something, and there's always tragedies, and I'm just like, how can you look at this moment and that be your first comment? It was under one of the Bills comments, which we'll get into, of the Bills players being there, and it was like, well, 0.0001% or something is racist, and I don't know why they think this is going to change anything. And I'm like, how could you sit there?
Where you pull that number from?
That was my other thing, but I'm just like, I ain't got that many words.
I said, first of all, you live in Buffalo, which is one of the most segregated cities in the country.
And you click on the dude page, and it's always the same stuff, man.
Yeah, so you know what it is.
You know what it is, but it's unfortunate because these are the same people that when we go to the games, go Bills, blah, blah, blah. That's why I started going to the Bills games and just really just, unfortunately, just kind of clicking up with the people that's around me and trying to enjoy it most with them. Now, if I see some true fans that I've seen before that I feel good about, you know, But
I always say, I think I had this conversation with my brother a lot.
Shout out to Greg, by the way.
Yeah, we got to get him on the pod.
We definitely do. Greg is funny as hell.
They love us when we catching touchdown passes.
Oh, that's a fact. Or when we shooting threes and man, listen, entertainment.
But don't drop that pass.
Oh, well, yeah, that too. Don't drop that pass. Don't miss that layup.
You're going to get every racial slur.
Or don't be on the opposing team.
Yeah, everything under the sun. And I just sit here like, wow. I mean, I don't root for the Jets, but I don't mean I'm going to call C.J. Mosley out his name just because he made a
monkey.
Play. But, but last thing I want to say on this before I transition, Vel can keep going if need be. But
we'll transition. Go ahead.
What the sadness that really hit me a lot is I wish that Sunday morning I was able to just go to a grocery store and not have to worry about it. And,
we get
And my wife, I love my wife so much.
Shout out to M.
Just because, y'all know you never seen my wife. My wife is white, so I am in an interracial marriage. And luckily for her, she always has my back and always reaches out to my friends and my family. This weekend, she was reaching out to everybody under the sun.
We appreciate
just to check in on them.
Yep.
And even some of her friends that she was and people that she knows just having conversations with. And, might have been Sunday or Monday or even Saturday night. It was like, I'm just getting ready to go to the store. Yeah. And I'm like, dang, I wish I just had that luxury to in the midst of all this, go somewhere and feel safe and not even think twice about it. And, that is the part I wish, I wholeheartedly wish I could.
And feel good.
And know that I'm safe. And I don't have to worry about anything.
Right. And to jump off that, and you can come back to that too, but that was my mood Sunday morning as well when me and my wife had a few errands to run. We had to go to the mall, we had to stop at Target for a quick second and then get a couple groceries. I said, well, I'm gonna go with you. I could stay home and lay in bed, but I'm emotional, whatever. I'm gonna go with you. I ain't doing shit. So I go with her. I keep my shades on the whole time. She asked me, you ain't taking your shades? I said, no. I said,
not right now.
I said, one of the reasons why I can't hide my emotions right now. Right. And we about to be around a bunch of people who I don't necessarily feel comfortable being around. And it's just like, I'm on guard. Yeah. So while everybody else is boo, 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 I'm looking around everywhere. And I came back home and, thought about it more that day, the next day. And I'm just like, is this really, how we're supposed to be living? Like in 2022, as a 33-year-old man, forget black man, as a 33-year-old man, should I be out here having to
go grocery
to get a couple items for the week?
That was so Sunday morning. I had to go show a couple houses to some clients, and in between, I was like, "Damn, my gas tank is on E." I had to stop and get gas.
Right.
And I'm at this pump, and I'm just like looking everybody dead in the eye, looking at every car, looking and everything that drives past. I'm like, I shouldn't. First of all, I shouldn't have to do this.
Right.
But the fact that it was just to the point where I didn't even feel comfortable.
Extra paranoid, right?
It's just full paranoid, and that's what part of this is. It's to strike fear and paranoia,
and that's exactly what it's for.
So it's like
division, all of that.
Yeah, but it's like, how do you overcome that while still dealing with it and processing it, which is the difficult part.
And that's a difficult part, and that's why when we switch this conversation to talking about the bills, we'll talk about what their impact was, but the only thing you can do is try to continue to be the person that you were raised to be. And that's being strong, showing love, and being the best version of yourself, and hoping that radiates across those people who mean the most to you. Because guess what? If I put that love into my son, he gonna grow up to have that same type of love, and he gonna be able to carry that on. If I do that with my wife and her family and my family, we'll continue to be the light that we are. And at the end of the day, as African Americans, all we can do is continue to be the strong, entertaining, powerful people that we are. Because in the end, that is the reason why we have people like him trying to kill us, is because they notice the power that we have. They notice the strength that we have in numbers. They notice how anytime you turn on your TV, look at any commercial. We looking at a commercial right now, Spike Lee on it. You know what I mean? You go into watching sports, who you seeing? Most of the time, LeBron James. Most of the time, Patrick Mahomes, whoever you want to say. Like, we are everywhere. And the more we continue to stick together, which is an important part of this whole week, and the more we continue to just build off of all of the bullshit, we gonna be fine, man. Like,
but again, even in the midst of all of this tragedy, it's conversations that need to take place. This is not. Granted, this is a completely racially motivated event that took place, but it's a conversation that needs to be had between all races.
Yep.
Again, at the end of the day, it's not my country. It's not your country. It's not.
We all gotta live together.
We're all citizens here, so we have to figure out how to coexist.
We have to, because honestly, a lot of us, all of us, didn't ask to be here. We were born, most of us here, and we've learned to obviously coexist. But it's like, dog, like thinking that you just gonna be able to just snap your fingers and have a race disappear, dog. We not going out like that,
right?
Bruh. So if you listening and you feeling like these little attacks are going to make black people go into a corner, nah. If you go to the east side right now,
it's a resilient. But y'all don't realize east side is resilient.
Too resilient.
It's just a lot of people, when you don't have nothing or don't have much, you figure out how to survive. You figure out how to get through. So what I will say, the community will be fine. The community will get better. Mm-hmm. Again, it's
going to take time.
Yeah, it's not an overnight process. But I tell you, the community they'll rally.
Right.
We'll continue to get better, continue to get stronger.
That's a fact.
And one thing I will say, these people won't be forgotten.
Hell no. All 10 of them. I wish I knew the names off the top, but
and it's an event that will never be forgotten here. And
never.
And the people who thankfully did survive.
Never.
We're thankful that they were able to survive. So those other 3 who were shot, the people who were in the store and thankfully
that made it out. I mean, the people who frequent that store.
Yeah, we're just thankful for those people, man.
That man. Listen, like I said, I thank God that he covered the majority of the people in that area, because we know it could have been worse. There was things out that he had planned to go around the block
and go other places.
And go other places and just shoot random black people. And once again, that's why a lot of us are not okay. It's because we know it didn't have to stop there. Shout out to the security guard, former policeman Salter. I mean, that's a hero. Y'all spent almost a full year talking about Blue Lives Matter this, Blue Lives Matter that, flags everywhere, blue, black, and white. My guy Salter is a real hero, if you want to call him, because if not for his presence of firing back, being the only one there with a weapon, he slowed that man down. Yeah, he caused people to be alert and say, "Oh shit!"
However long that was, it could have been 15.
That could have been 15 seconds.
That's long enough to get people out of a building.
Right, and it allowed people to move to safety. It allowed maybe the shooter to say, "You know what? I'm going back to the whip," and we later found out within seconds, police officer was there and he surrendered. But like we're not talking about stuff like that. You know what I mean? I don't see that being covered enough after a side of America was trying to tell us that police lives matter, whatever they were trying to say too. All right, we'll shout out this man. Or no, he don't get the same love because he looks like us. All right, I get it. But anyway, we gonna twist this into talking about the Bills as well, because the Bills did pull up to the east side. The coach came. Leslie Frazier said a prayer before they all dispersed and gave flowers and things like that.
And members of the Sabres,
the Bandits
were there. So
how do you feel about that? What was the impact of that?
What I think a lot of people are missing is the one thing, they didn't have to be there.
That's definitely the truth.
So, I mean, these people flew in from wherever they may have been.
Right.
To be here.
And we know some voluntary camp going on for some of the players.
Sabres are already in off season.
True.
Bandits are seasons close to being done. So, I mean, these people didn't have to be here. So for them to go out of their way to support a community that they're, a part of was huge. And again, I think the impact is bigger because, again, for these inner city folks, these aren't people that are going to training camps. They're going to Bills games. They're going to Sabres games. So to be able to see them
in person.
Yeah,
and not have to pay something, right? Because you go to a Bills game, I got to pay $200-$300.
That's not an option for a lot of folks. So for them to be able to see, like I saw a video and I'd hear somebody in the background sound like a little kid, like, that's Josh Allen. That's Josh Allen.
Listen, brought a smile to my face.
Yeah, like, so for someone, even something as simple as just a presence to be able to be there is helpful. So for the people, again, to see the professional athletes in their city just to be there and come here to work and come here to help in whatever way they can, it's huge.
Yeah, it's huge, and I think that, you know, what I took from it, from the clips that I saw, because I was at work when I saw most of the clips, but the prayer was important, right? The roses and flowers that were dropped were important. And I know some people gonna have problems because they feel like everything got to be like a publicity type of thing. But no, guess what? Photographers' jobs
are to take photos.
Are to take photos. So if the Bills hired photographers, because we already know they got photographers. So if the Bills photographers came along to take pictures, kill them for their job. But that's what they get paid to do. But I genuinely feel that McDermott and Bean and those guys, I feel like ever since they've come to Buffalo, they've been very true and genuine about their love for God, their love for togetherness. Unity is important to them. So like, I'm not surprised.
No,
but I am glad because, like you said, on the east side of Buffalo, we go to games. Like, you're a season ticket holder. This is gonna be my first year having seasons, and let me tell you something. I can tell you,
this wasn't an option for me when I was a kid.
Well, that, but also, it's definitely less than 20% of us at the games.
Mm-hmm.
And in the actual city of Buffalo, there's a lot of black people that live in the city limits
and love the Bills.
And love the Bills, but they're not able to get out there. So to see the players, to see them show that love and hug some of the fans, take pictures with some of the fans, because people are like, oh, you take. Well, yes,
absolutely.
Some of the people in that community want to take pictures. Like, you gotta think, some of these people been outside of Jefferson for 3 days, haven't smiled, and then they saw Stephon Diggs and they smiled for the first time in 3 days. Let these people have their moment. Just because you're not excited about seeing some players, cool. But some of the people within that community, some of the kids.
Yeah, because again, I mean, most people have lost a loved one or something. So you understand the mourning, the hurt that you feel. So you telling me you're going to take away someone's momentary joy, even if it's only 15 minutes. And everybody mourns different too. So you telling me just because they had their 15 minutes of happiness is a negative somehow? Like, let these people have a little bit of happiness, a little bit of smiles, because it helps.
Man, it helps so much because, again, when you can get 3 professional teams,
right,
in the hood, fuck Buffalo, in the hood,
right,
you know, our neighborhood, you know, seeing them on the east side of Buffalo, like, that was an image that I can get around because, like I said, you can always flip it to negative. You can always say, oh, I don't do this all the time. But you can also choose to go positive and say, guess what? A tragedy occurred. They're there to help. They're passing out food. I mean, there was the chef there.
Yeah, and again, people are
cooking up stuff, man.
People are putting the money where the mouth is.
Man, how much money they raised?
Tops made a massive donation.
A massive donation.
$500,000.
Thurman Thomas and his people, they raised over $100,000. Bills did $200,000. Matched by the NFL.
Another $200,000.
There's a bunch of other organizations that's been giving money. And to me, that's what it's all about. Even me, I've committed to finding a place to help on Friday. I'm off on Friday. I was going to try to squeeze it in this afternoon, but Friday I'm off, and I've already reached out to one person, so I'm gonna see how that goes. But I'm, people who really know me know that I'm pretty vocal about wanting to help people in general. Like, that's just, I guess it is kind of my gift, is that I'm kind of like a helper, what I mean, in many ways.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you. Every single job I've ever had has been in a role to serve.
Right.
So I mean, that's all I know.
Right.
And again, that's what that's what we do.
Right. That's what we do, and that's what our community needs right now. Like, the more they see me, Zyrus, your wife, my wife, when they see people come together for a good cause, a great cause, just helping people who don't have it. Like, we sit around and we're able to eat dinner every day. But we can't take that for granted because, as we said, on the east side, there are some families who, if they can't get to that grocery store, now they eating oodles and noodles.
Yeah,
now
whatever overpriced
or whatever or
some
right or they're trying to tell such and such to go to McDonald's real quick and get them and that's why I'm kind of glad and I'm hoping that money stays
where it needs
where it needs to be because these families really need it. Like I cannot stress that enough. Like we talk about the Buffalo Bills. It's the Buffalo Bills, right? So we're talking about the city of Buffalo, right? And the city of Buffalo includes the east side of Buffalo. The west side. No, and there's other parts too. But
that's 2 blocks away from the Rock Pile, the original Bill State.
You know what I mean? And my dad told me stories about them walking over there because my dad, he grew up in that area where John B. Wiley and all that stuff is at. So it's like it used to be in the hood. Let's talk about it.
Fun fact.
The Bill Stadium
was
smack dab in the fruit belt. You know what I mean? So like, we're excited about what that impact will do, and we hope that the helping and the efforts will continue because I think it's just so big that we just don't forget this past weekend. That we don't forget that love is the overall message because guess what? We know we live in a wicked country. A wicked world, I should say, because this shit is going on in even other countries. Yeah. So we live in a wicked world.
The only thing I can get rid of is just got to choke it out with love, man.
You got to choke it out with love, and you got to continue to be consistent with whatever it is that you're doing to be better. So if you're consistently helping people, continue to help people. If you're consistently using your platform for good reasons, continue to do that. And that's one reason I don't mind doing the double podcast that I do. Doing one with you, doing one with my wife. Vibes Are Us. Shout out to our podcast. The reason why I don't mind recording when I do, even on days when I'm tired, is like I don't mind using my platform to reach 1 or 2 people. I don't care if we get 6 viewers.
If we can make a connection with one.
If I can make a connection with one, that's like, good. I'm watching you from Germany. I just want to say salute.
What's that? What's the saying? Reach one, teach one?
Man, and that's all it is for me is because in Buffalo or in Orchard Park, where I'm working, I'm normally, talking to, 10 to 15 people a day. But if I can leave work, clock out, record something, and touch more people, then I'm really serving my purpose. Because as we know and as we witnessed this weekend, we only get but so much time on this earth, and we don't know when we going. Right. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of them people who passed away just thought they were just getting. Like I heard one lady just getting strawberries just for her little cake that she was making, and had to get executed. Like we gotta start using words like that too. Shots to the head, that's execution.
All what it is.
You know what I mean? I saw the DA or whoever the guy was from the Broome County talking about, I want to call it terrorism.
It's not that's just murder. I'm gonna punch him dead in the face.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me riled up. Don't get me riled up. But you starting to connect the dots, right? You starting to see, these acts don't come out the blue. Terrorism is when a plane goes into a building, because they be stuck on that. Those people with that mind, they're stuck on 9/11 and they stuck on brown people doing things like that. Muslims. That's terrorism to them. It can't be when a white person travels 200 miles to only kill black people. Like that was in his mind. He might have killed one other that wasn't black, but in his mind, he wanted to kill as many black people as possible. And if you are here to tell me that's not terrorism,
I don't know what to tell you.
Okay. Hey, that's on you, man. If you want to live in that delusional world. But again, we can't focus on the people who don't get it. We can just try to reach the people who are either trying to get it or do get it, and go from there and continue to move with love. Mm-hmm. Feel me? Right. So we gonna twist it.
Yeah, because last time we recorded, it was right before the
schedule release.
So it may feel like old news to some, but for the podcast, we need to touch this schedule for a little bit.
We might need to touch it just a tad.
So I kind of like how they did the schedule this year with games were trickling out here and there. Mm-hmm. But how did you feel when that news officially broke? Because there's rumblings about Bills week 1.
LA?
But how did you feel when it was official week 1? against the defending Super Bowl champs Thursday night. What was your initial thoughts?
My initial thought was, thank God the in-laws went ahead and thought of the idea of locking in our plane tickets early. We had our plane tickets kind of secured about a month before that news dropped. So like, we were kind of prepared. You know, we would have just moved around some things if it didn't work out, but we were kind of prepared for it to happen week 1. And I've never been to LA, so I'm happy that I will get a chance to be there. But from a Bills perspective, I'm glad that the way it looks, the tests that we need to see will happen early. And that Rams one is a great test because obviously they're the Super Bowl champs, but if you're Josh Allen in that offense, you're going against the top 3 corner week 1.
Whatever you want to put it in.
You're going against a top 1 defender,
top one of
and Aaron Donald. So like all of your jitters and all that's coming out week 1, and it's full head of steam. So for me, I like the fact that we don't come out like in some years playing a JV team.
Yeah, what I didn't want was coming out of week 1 against Minnesota.
Some bullshit,
Detroit.
right?
Like,
Yeah,
I didn't want that. So
no,
we don't have a choice but to show up.
Oh man,
you got to bring your A game because if not, you're gonna get run out of LA.
And to me, that's what I love, and I love the fact that when it was announced, just kind of like how when the Bills Titans game was announced, like they made that the feature that whole day. Like the outlets were just like Bills Rams, Josh Allen, like, and kind of like we talked about before, it's such a refreshing moment for us fans because we are really sitting back witnessing,
like, damn, this real life.
Yeah, it's real life, and it's just like witnessing other, analysts like gloat over our quarterback, gloat over our front office, gloat over our defense, gloat over our roster. Like, you don't know how many times I've turned on the TV now in the last 2 months, and they're like, Bills got the best roster top to bottom. And I'm not talking 2 or 3. I've heard 4 or 5 different analysts say that, and it's just like, we know it's true, but it's just like, damn, people actually echoing what we saying.
Right.
So I'm excited about that. What was, we've talked Bills Rams, but what was maybe your second best matchup that you saw from the schedule standpoint?
I was a little disappointed about that Thanksgiving game.
Me too.
That one kind of got me, so it wasn't something I was excited about. Again, I don't mind Thanksgiving, but if it's that 4:30 or that night one, like 12:30 on that Thanksgiving,
because I think the initial rumor was Baltimore, right?
Yeah, initially, like a couple days before,
right? They're trying to leak shit.
Yeah, a fake little leak, but that 12:30 Thanksgiving game is doing nothing for me.
It's not.
That's prime chill time.
But
that's pure get your drinks on before
I'm gonna let you finish, but I will say they won in one way. They know that's their game that gets the lowest ratings. Now, just because of the Bills, the number's gonna go up just something. Because guess what? If not even the average fan watches, they know they're gonna get all of New York State watching.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got the face of the league in the game now.
You know what I mean? Young J.A.
I mean, you got
so we'll be out there.
What I will say, what I am excited though about the schedule, I love where the Monday night game against Cincinnati is. So week 17, because again, if Bills come to town, not come to town, Bills take care of business. Cincinnati has a tough division, but if they take care of business, it could be a game that makes a difference when it comes to playoff seeding. So, if that game matters, I would love to see the Bills go to Cincinnati and, go pound for pound.
Oh, you talking about the Monday Night Football?
Yeah, at Cincinnati.
Yeah, so that was one of my more interesting matchups, too. I think I had a couple more as well. But that one is a fun one because normally at the end of the year for us, we'll just get our divisional matchups like New England, Miami, or somebody, and then we'll close it
again this year.
Right.
A lot of games.
But for us to play a team like Cincinnati on Monday Night Football at the end of the year,
put your track shoes on for that one.
Oh man, and let me tell you something. That has the potential to be one of the games of the year as well because guess what? Either one of those teams could be fighting for the number 1 seed.
Exactly.
Joe Burrow you know, we've heard a lot about him, you know, over the course of the last 4 or 5 months. Joe Cool, this and that. I think that's going to be a matchup to watch. You know, Joe Cool versus Young J.A.
See if the boys can run it back.
I mean,
Cincinnati ball.
Joe, hey, Joe, you had a nice year. You put your shades on. You had your iced out chain. But Josh Allen, a different beast. Can you go toe to toe with Mr. J.A.? And don't get me wrong, both fan bases can debate, you know, who's the dog, who's the better, blah, blah, blah. But let me tell you something. Tit for tat, skill set for skill set, I'm running with Josh. And that's no bias.
And that's no disrespect to Joe Burrow.
And that's no, yeah, because Joe Burrow is still in my top 10. I don't know if he's in my top 5.
Yeah, not Chad. I need to see
but
more.
yeah, I definitely need to see more. But he's in my top 10. But because I still got Herbert above him. Like Herbert, to give him his credit, he is putting up top 5 numbers. You know, am I going to firmly put him in my top 5? Not sure, but he is putting up top 5 numbers. So I got to give Herbert his credit over Joe, even though Joe made the Super Bowl. And you know, it's a team game. Yeah, so I can honestly say Joe played well, but his team helped a lot, which is nothing bad.
Nothing against them. It's just, you know.
Damn, niggas is fouling in this game. I got to say, we watching this playoff game while we recording. Boys is playing playoff defense. I love Jordan Poole, by the way. But anyways, yeah, so those are some fun matchups. We said Monday Night Football, Cincinnati. We know we got Monday Night Football, Tennessee. We know we got starting off the year with the Rams. And then the other sleeper game, and it really depends on how Green Bay plays, Sunday night versus Green Bay at home.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be fun. I mean,
I think it's just fun because it's Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
that's all.
It'd be nice. I've never seen Aaron Rodgers in person.
Seen Tom Brady before. That's crazy, though, because we're going to be able to say, as Bills fans, we got lucky.
Saw the GOATs.
We got lucky because we got a chance to see Brady. I think 90%. I think 90% of Bills fans got a chance to see Brady. Yeah. And then on top of that, we got a chance. We're getting a chance now to see the likes of Aaron Rodgers under the lights. Right. That's my thing. It's like Sunday Night Football.
Whether he got receivers or not.
Whether he got receivers or not. We might have to smoke. Yeah, I was about to say, we might have to do Green Bay dirty.
Yeah, they might have no one to go to. But again,
it don't matter.
It's still
A-Rod. You know what I mean? A-Rod going. And they run the ball well too. So let's give them. And they got a good defense. Like they have a top 5 defense. Like I'm not even gonna play around. If Jair is healthy, and the other defensive backs and their front 7 is decent.
Yeah, no, their defense got better this offseason too, and they won.
They added to that defense too in the draft. So
got a nice little pass rush already, but it's just like, who you throwing that ball to?
Who you throwing that ball to? Because if you relying on Sammy Watkins and what's the dude's name? Because I was playing Madden earlier with them boys. They got Sammy and Randall Cobb. Cobb like 44.
Someone.
They did sign someone else. I can't think of a person else.
Who's the dude that was on Kansas City? Was it
Marquez Scanley, whatever?
No, he went from Green Bay to Kansas City. So maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Valdez Scantling. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
But they do got somebody else. I just can't think of who it is. But
Pringle?
And they drafted a guy. They got somebody in the second round.
Yeah, they picked up. That'll be a fun game.
That'll be a fun game. Just got under the lights. Anytime Josh matches up against another quarterback, even though they don't play each other, it's going to be fun because you know Josh going to bring it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Bills on Monday night. I believe it's Monday night against New England again.
Thursday night.
That was Thursday night?
Thursday night.
Yeah, I think that was at New England.
Yep, at New England. And then we have it to be determined at the end of the year versus Miami.
I'm just looking forward to shit on New England again on national TV.
Yeah, Mac
it's coming up. It's about to be a year.
Mac, you ain't going to be able to do nothing with Von Miller and Greg on your heels.
Listen.
With Ed Oliver and Jordan Phillips up the middle.
Don't be surprised if New England ends up 4th in the division.
You know what? That's one of, and we'll do predictions obviously during the summer as far as standings go, but I'm really, and it goes back to thinking about Zach Wilson. How well,
if you make any type of progress,
right.
Again, he showed flashes.
He showed flashes.
As a whole, he had a rough season.
He did.
He had a rough season.
Because I don't even got him in my top 15. So
no, not at all.
Yeah, they're not even.
The thing is, New England still have not done anything to help their defense, and that's.
I think the only thing they did that I saw was Jabril Peppers. I think.
Yeah, I mean they have good safeties.
Right.
They might have 4 good safeties.
And maybe a 1 linebacker. They added a linebacker.
But again, you lose J.C. Jackson and you pick up what's the old boy that been there about 30 times?
Butler.
Yeah, you pick up Butler, who is
about all of unfortunately our age.
Yeah, right.
I was about to say his age. I'm like, damn,
old as shit.
I know, right? Like, oh shit.
Yeah, you football old.
Yeah,
you got rid of linebackers. Didn't really replenish that at all.
Yeah, man. I don't know.
Like, I don't see it.
Yeah.
But
Jets got more talent. We'll say that. But
yeah, in certain positions, they definitely do.
Coaching and quarterback play is going to be the difference between 3 and 4.
Yeah. So at a glance, how would you think when you're looking at record wise for the Bills?
For the Bills right now, looking at that record, I think I put it online already. My way too early prediction is 13 wins. Mm-hmm. Only because I like the evil number 13 just because of how the year ended.
4.
I think 13-4 is a good number. If I had to be more realistic, I'll probably drop it down to 12. But I think 13 is solid because I feel like, once again, top to bottom, we're just so solid that the only way we lose some of those games is
something weird happen.
Something weird happen. Health. Yeah. So somebody go down or something crazy like that.
Yeah, which you can't predict.
So I'm trying to put all of that into play because if I want to be bold, I can sit here and be like, 16-1.
Yeah, because again, they'll probably be favored in every game except at Kansas City
or at Rams.
At Rams, some places I saw Bills as 1-point favorites. Some I saw them as 1-point underdogs. Right. So maybe that game, maybe Cincinnati. So again, I don't think no more than 3 games will be underdogs.
And even Cincinnati, I think we will end up being
at that point of the season. You'll never know.
Yeah, it's true.
But I mean, even I don't think they'll be underdogs in many games at all. So
and like I said, it's going to be interesting early on, looking at the schedule, and for those who know the schedule. Those first 8 weeks gonna tell us everything we need to know.
Yeah, because it's front loaded.
Front loaded like a. If you can get through that with 5 wins,
listen, that's what I'm saying. You get out the first 8 games. I think Green Bay is an 8th game right after the bye.
Yeah,
if you can get
something
through
like
those
that.
First 8 games at
5-2,
5-3, 6
yeah, whatever.
2.
Yeah.
Oh, you sit.
We good. We ain't like this.
Yeah, because the start is tough.
The start is rough. Baltimore, Miami, all them teams.
But if you can take out the Rams week 1.
That's going to be the great start.
That's going to make the rest of that.
Because week 2 is what again? What is week 2?
Tennessee and then Miami.
Okay. So week 2, okay. Tennessee at home, so I'm pretty confident with that. No receivers to really throw to. I mean, Robert Woods can't do everything, so so I'm
Rams, Titans, Dolphins, Ravens, Steelers.
Okay.
So you can run if you get Rams.
Right. You should violate the Steelers just because they violated y'all last year. Yeah. You got to kill whoever that quarterback is. Trubisky, Pickett, Pennant, whatever his name is.
Dolphins again have a lot of speed, but
they're
not ready.
Hands up. That's all you gotta do. They're gonna try to do quick passes.
Yeah, they
throw your hands up.
I'll be really excited if they can beat that Rams team week 1.
And that's what it comes down to is that the Bills are gonna have to be tone setters.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough because again, going into the division champions on the opening night, the energy is gonna be through the roof. Like it's gonna be tough to match that. So, for them, it's gonna be a tough game, regardless of a talent level.
Yeah.
Again, I think the Bills.
But I will think they'll be happy that fan.
Get that out the way too.
Well, they'll get it out the way, but us fans, we're gonna travel well, so it's gonna be the LA fans will be out, but the Bills fans gonna be out.
There. And another thing I do like about that being week 1, you got your only West Coast trip out the way week 1. Mm-hmm. So after that, I don't even think they leave the Eastern time zone. Well, after that, everything is all East Coast. So, you get your 1 travel game out, you get extra couple days rest because it's Thursday. Even another day because then you turn it Thursday and then Monday.
Right.
So you got plenty of rest coming off the West Coast trip. So, you know what? You got all off season to prepare for that.
Right.
You got a new offense.
Yeah, Von Miller can even give you a couple of tricks like, yo, listen, Matt Stafford like to do this. Because, Von is a student of the game, too. And that's what I love is that from a defensive standpoint, we got so many students of the game. The young Rook, we've talked about him for a while. We talked about obviously Travius White when he gets back healthy, but you got so many guys that's just very detail oriented. Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer, The linebackers, of course, that we got.
Steph Diggs, the way he digs into the game.
Listen, and I can't wait to see the rookie out there, the rookie wide receiver.
It's gonna be fun.
And that number 10, I seen
like,
that. I seen that.
Listen, I will.
And James Cook.
Yeah, I'll let y'all know right now. If the Bills come out and shit on LA, you will not be able to tell me nothing.
You ain't gonna be able to tell a lot of us nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
We're gonna be an obnoxious fan base.
just
I'm
like
gonna try to go straight to the
news.
hotel. I know.
Buffalo Bills
going to the Super Bowl.
16-0. Buffalo Bills won the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
that's gonna be me the whole time. You won't be able to tell me.
I'm gonna have to go straight to my hotel after that because if you let me out in LA, if we win, they might jump me.
Yeah.
But nah, listen, man.
I ain't got no real fans. You'll be all right.
Yeah, true. But nah, I think we covered what we wanted to today. We didn't want to drag it out too long. We wanted to end it with love. And again, prayers to the family. So Z, I'll let you go first. Any lasting messages that you want to hit the people with before we close out?
I'll say this. My pastor who passed away last year, one of the things, anytime he closed out service, he says love isn't love until you're giving it away.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you have anything, you got a kind word, you got a hug, you got anything, just give it out. Give it to someone.
Right.
Just share it. Because again, you never know what someone may or may not be going through, whether it's related to this tragedy or not.
Right.
Someone could be going through their own personal demons. It could be their own struggles within their family or work, whatever. A kind word, a smile, a hug. Those things go a long way when someone's going through. So, I just leave y'all with that. If you got anything in you, just make sure you give it out. It doesn't have to be someone you know. It could be a stranger.
Right. That's a fact.
It don't matter. Just share some love.
Yeah, and I echo off that and just say, man, just as a community, let's continue to wrap our arms around each other. This is still a tough time. We're talking through this as we're still going outside and fearing certain things. I work alone in my sphere for the most part, and I'll now hear different sounds while I'm in the cooler or whatever, and I'll just get paranoid because I'm just like, okay, I'm working in this part of, Western New York that ain't too many of me, and I'm thinking in my back of my mind, what if they see me come in and out and just like, oh, I want to, you know what I mean? Like, just bad thoughts like that, but it's just like, at this point, you don't know what to think, just because we've seen the impossible, the unthinkable things happen. So all I can say to, first off, the people who look like me, continue to be strong, continue to be proud of who you are, continue to realize that your life does matter, continue to preach to your kids that no matter what they see on TV, no matter what they hear in their schools, they are great, they are powerful, they are beautiful, that nobody can take that away from them. I do believe in magic within our skin. I do believe that the magic that comes with us being who we are, I believe that there's a reason why we are kind of the most hated group of people in this country. And I just want to say that we got to just continue to push love, continue to educate those around us. And for those who don't look like us, I just say that continue, as we said earlier, to just show love in different ways. If it's just listening, let it be just listening. If it's donating when you can, donate. If it's volunteering when you can, volunteer. If it's just having a phone conversation with your friend that you haven't spoke to in a while who may need the vent, speak to them. But caring is important. And as you heard our message early about how we went to work and how we didn't hear some things, those things do affect us, and we do remember those who reach out and who say certain things, even if it's a 10-second message, even if it's a 11-word text message, even if it's an Instagram message to say, glad you're good, hope all is well, blah. Like, I was getting a lot of that. Yeah, I was getting a lot of that, and I'm just like, I really appreciate those because at this time,
bro. That's something
I don't care, bro. Like, and it's so important. And I'll add in this one story. I had a client. 95% of my clients don't really care. I'm gonna just keep it a buck. Nobody really asked about me, whatever. I don't expect them to. They're coming in for their own reasonings. One broke down, on Monday with me. grabbing tissues, crying, whatever. And she's like, I feel so sorry. I feel this and that. You know, she have kids who got black friends, this and that. And I just told her, I said, listen, you're fine. I said, you know, she was like, oh, what can I do? Like, I'm like, guess what? What you're doing right now is helping me because you're allowing me to see raw emotion from another person who doesn't look like me. That lets me know that you get it. Yeah. That lets me know that you care and that you're trying to do your part by doing small things. And sometimes it is that. Like, letting us know that you do care is very important. But like I said, and like we've been saying, love is important. Continuing to push love, continuing to push away the hate. We can't run from it because hate just seems to be out there. But at the end of the day, we are a resilient group of people. We are a resilient community.
Absolutely. And
VNZ, all we're about is love, man. But our city is most important. Absolutely. Buffalo. East Side kids, you can't take that from us.
Yeah, that's all I know, man.
Listen, I'm an inner city kid till I die. And
born and bred, baby.
Listen, I take that with me everywhere. I don't care. I don't care how many different places I go to. If I move in the future, like, nah, bro. I'm always Buffalo kid. But we gonna end it like that. This is Vel.
Cyrus, we'll see y'all
next week, man, and we'll hopefully have some more things to talk about. Like I said, we didn't spend as much time on the Bills, but we'll dive into some more things: rookie camp, volunteer camp, things to look forward to going into June when they have their mandatory camp. So stay tuned, stay locked in, and we appreciate y'all for locking in.